who is that fucked up to a certain extent, but not enough to go take him out to dinner or something. And nor did I care enough after 2 hours about this guy. I'm kept waiting for them to show me something where I should personally give a shit. Like, it's interesting because we haven't seen the subject matter really explored on film, right? And certainly not by as competent as an actor as Michael Fassbender. But at the same time, it wasn't engaging to me.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, man. I do agree with you on one thing, though. I love movies about, any kind of city. I mean, we were talking about how Midnight in Paris, Paris was a character in that movie. I feel like everybody's putting so much on the sex in this movie because it's NC-17 and it is very heavy and very graphic. But one of the things I like about it is that New York, I love when New York is filmed this way. It especially like Manhattan, urban New York, when all these people go to like all these like really trendy places. And
you just want to know the places to go get cheap sex.
I just want to tell
the movies like right here and right here.
I'm writing down the names.
I'm looking at Corey right now, and I don't know if you can tell on the computer, but he's already booking his next trip to New York, which is like tomorrow. So,
vacation out of shame. So,
what? There's something that the character does that's almost suicidal. And at that point, that's when I completely lost hope.
I know what you're talking about is him like hitting on girls and just bucking up to the man that they're with, whether they be boyfriends or whatever. And I understood like kind of him trying to punish himself.
Sure, but I thought it's him like trying to feel something, even if it's extreme pain.
And I didn't dislike that as much as you did. I thought it was pushing the movie a little bit too much, but. Again, I understand that because the guy's trying to like actually feel something.
I get it, and I don't take points away from the movie for that. I just say like at the point he's doing that, it's like when you watch a movie with a junkie who's really far gone. Yeah. Like you might have hope for him at first, but there will come a point where you go like, you know what? There's no saving this guy.
Almost the only thing we even know about this guy is his personality disorder. Yeah. Like we don't know anything about his past really, except that he has a sister that's also fucked up, and he can't stand to be around her. And that's about it. That's about the extent of knowledge that we have about this guy. Yeah. And the fact that every other feeling that you have to have about him is stuff that you have to project on him and invent for him to feel like he's got some depth. What can I say? I'm like, sure, if you can do that, great. But I thought that like a great performance goes a long way towards that. But yeah, it just wasn't enough for as far off the deep end as he really goes for me to go, okay, well, he's disintegrating, sure, but why should I care?
Something I didn't so much enjoy watching but greatly appreciated was that like of all the sex scenes, probably the longest, the most involved, the most graphic was with the girl who genuinely cared for him. To where like that really sold the point to where like, wow, this girl who's really into him, they have this great sex scene, and yet this is where it fails for him because she cares, and that's when he's like, nope.
Yeah, he just pretty much was a guy like with erectile dysfunction. You're like, sorry, I can't get up, get out.
Yeah,
get out so I can get Dollar Hook on the phone. The thing you might like about this now, you and I hate to put us in the same boat like this, but you
okay.
You
don't let
I can't wait to hear this. Yeah, let's go.
You and I can be childish sometimes, and
of course.
I mean, I know some people are gonna want to see this movie after it gets a little bit more marketing, a little bit more focus in the news, because there are some very graphic sex scenes in this. I mean, there's a point where he puts on a bib, gets a knife and fork, and just eats ass.
I can't believe this isn't rated X. I mean, maybe it is.
It's NC-17.
Is it? Okay, because there's a
Wow.
moment that's I would say is actually showing penetration. But
well, you get to see him walk around with his dick flopping around.
That's the part I'm talking about. You love,
okay, I can't wait. Yeah.
You love Magneto, Nate.
Yeah, it reminds me of Watchmen.
You said you were on the same boat. I didn't know it was the same ferry.
Damn.
Glass and throw it at you.
I forgot my change. I was gonna ask you, Corey. I mean, I've pretty much heard these guys' dislikes, but you said it wasn't perfect. Maybe I missed something, but what didn't you think was perfect about the film?
For a lot of people, and not so much me, to a certain extent. I mean, it's one of those movies again that's sort of extended, sort of long, because there are moments of just quiet. There are moments of people sitting around looking at each other. I think the pacing is just slightly off a little bit. I mean, it could be picked up just a tad. But I do admire the direction here. I can see why he does this. I mean, this is the guy that's supposed to be, You're supposed to reflect on his loneliness, and that's what they're trying to achieve. I just thought they could have sped up a little bit more. Directed by a guy named Steve McQueen.
Right. It's not the Steve.
No, it's not.
That would be
Resurrected.
I mean, they wanted you to.
I
know
heard this guy interviewed. He's some weird little British guy.
Oh yeah, they wanted you to like not think about Steve McQueen so much that they turned the director black. No, seriously, Steve McQueen.
Really?
Yeah, this is a black director, and have any of you ever seen the movie Hunger?
I have not.
I have not either.
It got very good reception at Cannes when it played there. That's all I know about.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see it, and this director worked with Michael Fassbender on that. I didn't know he's a black director. I just thought it was cool because this is a guy who ain't trying to be Spike Lee and make like a black movie. It's like in fact he went out of his way to make sure that there were no black people in except one. And this is one girl that's interested in Michael Fassbender. Again, Michael Fassbender not playing a British guy. He does actually play a true New Yorker. In
he's Irish/German.
Yeah, man. Look, I don't joke about this too much sometimes, but I'll put it out there. I'll be honest with you. Maybe I do see myself a little bit in this character. There was a long time ago when Leon pulled me aside and even told me, like, do you know how much of a fucking addict you sound like right now? I said, yep. Actually, I didn't even hear him because there was a girl walking by. What'd you say? I'm sorry. What again? But,
if there's a rehab for pussy, I ain't going.
12 steps to the whorehouse, goddamn. But I will say that just the performances in this movie and just making me feel something that I would never think of, like, as a true addiction, just making me finally see it and looking at it like, man, this really is a problem. I mean, if people do live like this and it's portrayed like I see it, I feel that. And I feel bad for people who have it. Other than that, I just thought it was great direction. I thought it was, again, great cinematography, several great performances in this movie. I even like the guy's boss. I'm trying to look up the actor's name, James Badge Dale. I thought that guy was pretty cool because he looked at Michael Fassbender. He didn't know that he had a bunch of porn on his computer, but he's like, you got DP, double DP, black on green, and cream pie. Like, this sounds like a bakery. I don't even know what half of this. I don't even know half this shit is.
Like, clearly, that guy who was here that one day put all that shit up.
Clearly. It's a movie like this that makes you feel something that character is feeling, and I don't think it's just me. I think anybody can at some point see what this character is all about. I love that about the movie. Like I said, co-host has problems, but enough for me to give it full price.
Okay. I don't have a problem with the pacing. I really don't.
You don't? Okay.
I don't. And the acting and the cinematography, I mean, I agree with all the positive you say. As a matter of fact, the fact that it is a movie that does show you sexual addiction in a way where you don't go like, oh, every guy is sexually addicted. You just want to fuck. It's like, no, this is a serious problem, and I would not want to be this guy. I feel bad for him. And yet, as Cyrus points out, I feel bad for him only to a point because I don't really know him. His life is out of control. He's going to crash and burn. By the time it ends, without showing me that, without giving me a big thing to happen to tie it all together.
Consequence?
Yeah. I mean, there's something that happens. It's one of those movies where you're waiting for it to reach a crescendo to tell me what it's all about. And when something does happen, you're like, ooh, okay, wow, that's huge. Okay, so what's the aftermath of that? Well, the aftermath is the house lights come on and you get your ass out of the car.
You got to go in the parking lot, look for your car.
Yeah, hey, you consider yourself a writer, you go write an ending for this because we don't have one. So, and that ultimately makes it kind of like, well, it was an exercise in a slice of life, but there's a lot of movies like that, and there's other movies that are able to carry it all the way through, and I would have preferred to have seen that. So that makes it come out to a matinee for me.
I keep coming back in my head, and I couldn't help but think about, as I was watching it, American Psycho. But in the sense, like, let's picture that character in real life, like a real guy, not the highly exaggerated, hyperbolic Christian Bale version, but of all those qualities that he had, and the same problem, except instead of killing, he's fucking.
Yeah.
And that same sort of shallow, I can't control myself. I'm not sure if I even want to control myself. I'm not sure I'm willing to acknowledge I have a problem sort of way. Cross that with a sort of the cinematography and a lot of the feeling of the city of Lost in Translation. I got a lot of that type of feel to it, that sort of pacing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It works because it's kind of beautiful to watch, the way it's all pieced together. But really not a lot actually happens on the whole. It's just kind of I'm just going about my life. Here's the time when I get in the morning and brush my teeth, and now I'm going to go and get something to eat. you know.
Fuck about 12 chicks on my
So
way.
now I'm gonna fuck a bunch of chicks on the way. Yeah, it's the wipe in Star Wars, except with his dick. But like I said,
There's a chick parking her car. I think I'll go fuck her.
it kind of came to that at points. I don't know though. I wish I could have. I wish it could have given me something more to emotionally grab onto with this. I mean, I guess I can respect it in a sort of cold, detached sort of way. I mean, like it is beautiful, but in such a clinical fashion almost. It's another one of those rare films where there's so much sex with hot woman, and yet it's not really
Sexy.
at all. You know, and so. I don't know.
That's a crime.
Yeah, it kind of is really. It kind of made you feel. I mean, you're supposed to feel dirty, but like I said, to some degree, I go to films purely to enjoy them, and I was having a hard time finding something to grasp onto that to really enjoy here. So
I find something to grasp onto.
like I said, I think technically,
You think that?
Really? Yeah.
Hey, in the beginning, you might.
Yeah.
I think to me that's what trapped me. Where in the beginning I was like, yeah, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
it's like, ew.
Like I said, I think technically there's a lot of good stuff going on here. I think this is obviously a director to be watched, but it just didn't grab me. I'm gonna give it a low matinee because there is a lot to like, but that's as much as I can.
I think that's a really good
So.
point, though. Two things you brought up, like the comparison to American Psycho. I mean, American Psycho took place in the 80s. This is, of course, modern day, but I can see those comparisons like very directly. And the other thing is like, yeah, that's an excellent point that all of the sex in here, it just seems really disgusting. I mean, it's not even maybe not disgusting, but just seems sad. You're not turned on because it's just it's
clinical.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, even like that one scene where I was getting turned on, the way it ends up was just like, wow, that is a serious buzzkill right there.
Don't nobody move. My penis is waking up. I'm not at fault for what happens next.
Ghost is like, not
Get
again,
the
not
fuck
again.
out of here.
Stop me before I fuck again.
Somebody throw that vacuum cleaner out here.